Yes, that's it. And long beating, maybe 10 times to long beating meditation. And after that, you need rejoice. This class, I have this today, listening this. And your job is just listening, you know how to pass most mystery history come your mind just forward. And then after the weekend, um, come later, not yet now. your job just 3 days, your joy, right? Need joy. I think this is very important. Any action, we have this good opportunity, this future, I think not yet, something like that. This is the only one time now, If you think it like that, it makes your mind like more happy or joy or joy la material,
네네.
joy. Yeah, we do this meditation shortly. 다 예, 중무실에 쳐가지고 너무 너무 싫어야 세고 너무 너무 싫어야 지대원 쪽으로 차세요. 지대원 쪽으로 지대세 지대세야 된다. 거기는 담는 무엇이죠? 지대세 안도 지대라야 돼. 아니 이거 권하야고도 레다 녀모는 되네. 중에 댄시신 아니 지배 댄 딜이야 지대세 다 지대 데 하나도 단다.
Ten the base, right?
댄세야 댄 가르쳐.
10 bases.
베스트
Yeah.
지금까지 가르쳐서 나 레다 녀모
Okay.
녀모 아니 그 주어단지 지바 내가 겨우 쳐야 댄시가 지대 다
Ten Wangchuk.
원주스 저 대원데 두가 대원데
Power, yeah, power.
파워제레식데 파워제레식 민레 지대 원주스 파워제레식이 아니 지den숨지 공부인세고라 사고사딘 살레시고 숨지 아니 와다 지den 원주스도 대원주스 두가 원도 두가 칼로지 되게 된다지 근데 얘가 아니 차세에서 그게 되게 되는지로 차세에서
Okay. So we get to this homage, right? And this homage is. Oh, so I'll read the verse. I pay constant homage through my three doors to my supreme teacher and protector, Chenrezig, who, while seeing all phenomena coming and going, makes single-minded effort for the good of living beings. Now, the words used in the Tibetan is Jigten Wangchuk, which is a synonym for Chenrezig. But when we break this down, Jigten means kind of like worldly, can mean worldly, like the 8 worldly dharmas is the Jigten Chogye, but it can mean like existence as well, in a way, right? Like you could say this world, but not like this world, like all world systems, right? So these come about, so this is this, and when we break this Jigten down, it's 2 parts. So Jig is, it means disintegrate, but to come about, but in this context means to come about due to karma and delusions. And 10 is like the basis. So this basis which arises due to come about to karma and delusions. And then Wangchuk means to has power over, right? But in this case, the power to protect and the power to benefit all of this Jigten, this basis that arises through karma and delusion. So something like he who has power over this world system or this basis that arises based on karma and delusions.
다 직전에 devas 라이언데 직전에 devas 라이언데 아저 돈이 무슨 데 떠봐들라 돈이 무슨 데 떠네 아니 직전에 devas만 다 통남 쓰라는 거 그래서 통남 산제지 랑려야 통남 저랑 통남 보는 밀어랑 지지 랑마 여러 대나라다 민세 티전 시야시냐 통남이 내가 수 대망 무슨 데 통한다 직전에 devas 뒤코라 그 진직 제가 상만 내용 지기였다.
라?
겨왔던 지고 제가 내는 놈 지고 뒤콘라. 와 직전 뭐 내가라. 다 돈이 무슨 또 직전에 되어서 되고 교도야 내용이 진직 제가 돼 매와체. 그러나 신기 진직 제가 되면 지기. 하나도 뒤제 진직 제가 되면 내가 놈 교도야 돼 요말다 직전에 되어서 돼. 이 거든데 야고도 봐. 거든데.
So, to give you an example, when we say this Jigten Ladepa, which has gone beyond this Jigten or this worldly existence, right? So, when we understand a being who's done that, that's considered somebody who's on the path of seeing. Tikmen tang Jigten Tonglam, no? Tikjen Chikbore or Tikmen Yang?
Sichibore, Samaina, the Nang Tikjen Shisha, Tikjen Shena Yaro.
Okay.
Tikjen Tonglam Shena.
All right, so in this case, we're looking at people on the Mahayana path of seeing and above. So the other beings on other paths can also be can go beyond this, but we're focusing on the Mahayana 5 paths. So when we look at the paths, the 5 paths, accumulation, preparation, seeing, meditation, and no more learning, any being who's on the path of seeing or beyond is considered to be like a beyond worldly being or a trans-worldly being, right? So, like Ladepa means to go beyond. So what have they gone beyond, or what have they transcended? Well, everything within this worldly system is susceptible to production and disintegration, right? And this is due to this karma and delusion. So once you've gone beyond this production of karma and delusion, then you're said to be a trans-worldly being, right? Because what have you transcended? You've transcended this karma and delusion. Papa Chenrezi Yura.
Papa Chenrezi Jashina, Papa Chenrezi, Tujugi, Tony Musundo Velam Danger, Dilla, Hangi Chugon, Dom, Missy Jansen, Di Tony Musundo, Tony is of Sumudilla, Kuzo Bichudi, Draw, One, the day Yomaris. Tony Musu,
okay.
Tony is of a singular, Kuzo Bichudi, Draw, One, the day of Penazawashirabi, the Chuju, Bola, the water. Kangi Dingy to watch him go, 처음에 왔다면 오면 오면 다들 되면 조언이 좀 담아들 찾아서 공부를 도 근데 가서 예서야 돼. 최도도 줘야 요말 와 요말 끼와 요말 타대 요말 찍 요말 수시하다.
그렇게 텐드로
근데 가서 예라십니다.
The 8 dependent origination decay 탐보
관계 대전 좋아 중지 가과매와 깨매와
production reduction plus cessation. Nipa? Okay, so Keba dan Gakpa Tambo? Uh-huh. Chewa? Permanent plus same.
Any Tade Yomaris, Chig Yomaris, 20 Yomaris, and 20 Mayimbe Yomaris.
Tonchig.
20 Mayimbe Yomaris, 20 Yomaris, 20 Mayimbe Yomaris, Yellow.
One and the one. Or not one. Okay. So then he goes on to talk about who while seeing all phenomena lack coming and going. So what's meant by this? Well, beings like Chenrezig, who have directly realized emptiness, have a direct realization of emptiness, they have this understanding that things are free from this coming and going. So as Nagarjuna stated in the 8 points of dependent arising, it's free from 8 things, from production and cessation, from permanence and impermanence, from being the same or being different, and from being tonchig, like one meaning or not one meaning. Tonchig, yeah. Literally one meaning or not one meaning. So these are the 8 things that the Tongbanyi Nangla Yumare, the Tamali non-sun talk, Najo non-sun Nangimare. Okay. So these 8 things do not appear to somebody when they're meditating directly on emptiness. So within this direct perception of emptiness, these 8 things do not appear, right?
Hangi Chugun, Drum Missy said, Hangi Chugun, Church that Kuzogi Chugun, so Tangas and Gitches. Children never Kunzo de Malagazan, Kunzo de Church that Kun, and it don't use a single draw than one about the day Yomaris. Inaya, any Robert on the Tijik then there was that. Naya, any Jetobayasha, Stewadi, Kaduine, Jinyamsha, you never look Kunzogi Church to Yomaris. 아니 도와가 된다 지야가 가도 있나데 배전시 제도민데 내가 없어요. 아니
Right, right, right. Okay. So even though Chinrezig has this understanding that these orphan like this phenomena lack this coming and going on these 8 aspects, right? Still, he's able to because kind of limitless compassion, able to work or to bring benefit to all living beings. So this is the last line: make single-minded effort for the good of living beings.
심지 동네 올라 미지 대 동네의 텐더기 저와 가도 있는 텔레시비 요인자 제레식스야 되고 제레식 라마셔는 제레식은 라스 아 공부스 제원데 직전순지 공부스 단기 도성 직전순지 공부스 나다 직전순지 공부 돌아가는 되고 아니 따도 고성 그에 찾으러서 투다 네 가도 있는 아니 고성들 루지
직전순
감성 공부 아
Jigdinsum? Kamsum?
Jigdinsum de Kamsum lejana de.
Okay, yeah, 3 rounds, yeah.
Da de shinda de ti yor ta sha shi de. Ane ta de gozum ku be cha sa tu ta ne gozum su de lue ji go ma ji go yi ji go sum ji go ne ane ku be cha che gi yin so da.
So the chen is a conduct the chen how go the make the
chen 6 ro chen si de chen ta 먼저 제스 데 미로와 디 카와스 기어레스나 두제 동일라 동인 나데 조즈를 미제 디 동일라 텐데기 아니 제베 튜남디다 식데기요레서
right. So when he makes this, when Togbe Sangmo makes this this praise, he sees his lama and Chinrezig, his guru and Chinrezig, to be inseparable, right? So this is where, this is the meaning behind what the praise is made. But also when we look at the breakdown of this word Chenrezig, right? So Chen means I and Zig means to like hold or apprehend, right? So, but what it basically means is that Chenrezig is always aware, always seeing the suffering of sentient beings, always like, I don't know if watching is the right word, but always seeing, always the suffering of the sentient beings. And also Jigten Sum Pangbo, so he's like also said to be like the lord of the 3 realms, 3 worlds or the 3 realms, which is the formless and desire realm, right? And so this is a breakdown of Chinrezig, but then this first line, I pay constant homage to through my 3 doors, actually comes last in the Tibetan, so that's why we're only getting it to now. But it's first in the English translation. So basically with the bodies, the 3 doors of body, speech and man, constantly making prostrations and paying homage.
탐주 둘레 중에 디아니 디에라네실 예선남지 라네시와 차스 펜데 중네스 라는데 펜데스 라는데 내가 펜바 내가 체디가 체딜라 먼저 셈바마지와 아니 류기 나자 심이 동에 윤조 두줄라 심 내가 그 디지두야라 펜바 대와스도 아니 타바다 탐제 쳔베 중네 아니 다 저거 산지레스다 아주 내가 집에 저거 산지에 고마토는 용거래 타도기 때워지대 다 저거 산지에 용거래 다 산지에 고마토발라 가르고래 최냠내시 그랬어 최냠내 저라 담배추 냠내시 그랬어 두어치 그랬어 두어치 원래 되네 산지에 중어를 매지 산지에서도 미지 직대에서 여러분들 수업 먹는 여여러분들 되게 요 말했어 그래서 냠내시 그랬어 다 냠내시야 냠내시 그랬어 그러봐 냠내시는 냠내시 그러 마시는 가르치고 그래요. 제가 냠내시 원래 라레베 인자 땅에 제세신 주신베게 냠내 시야가 체도 아니 제세신 주신베 냠내 되게 다 마시기 인스지.
Right.
어디지?
Okay, so now we get to the second verse, the promise to compose. So traditionally in Tibet, whenever you're composing a text, there's always this promise to compose. So, first of all, there's the prostration to accumulate the merit. Then there's always this commitment to compose the text. So it says here, perfect Buddha, source of all well-being and happiness. The Peganangla, the Kandilab, the Chopabo, the Sampapo, Gonda, the
Sambatamjo.
Sambatamjo.
Sambatamjo is the Lega the dish.
No, Puyik this slope.
Sambatamjo.
Right, the Shalokal, this slope.
Pendejune, always Sanjana.
Okay. So yeah, it's perfect, but as a source of all well-being and happiness, arise from accomplishing the excellent teachings. And this depends on knowing the practices. So I shall explain the practices of the Bodhisattvas, right? So when we talk about this, who is the source of all this well-being and happiness? So when we talk about well-being and happiness, we're talking about both the temporary happiness now and also the ultimate happiness of understanding and realization. And these source all the Buddhas. All this temporary and ultimate happiness arises from these Buddhas. So if we want to attain the state of Buddhahood, how do we go about it? Well, as it says here, arises from accomplishing the excellent teachings. So it's done through it's done through practicing the path to Buddhahood, practicing this Dharma path. It's not something you can just kind of buy at a supermarket or find anywhere else. It's done through practicing the Dharma. So how do we go about practicing the Dhamma? Well, first we have to understand how to practice it. And so it says, and this depends on knowing the practices. So to understand it, we need to study it, and therefore to practice it, we need to understand it. And therefore he says, so I shall explain the practices of the Bodhisattva. So in order for us to be able to understand it, and therefore practice it, and therefore attain enlightenment, Togmi Sangpo is going to then explain these Bodhisattva practices.
That the danger ran shisha wa danger ran shisha that those to yun de la choba joba the zomba tamje wa danger ran show dezen shiche lan jik dezen sumji da choba joba the zomba tamje wa fa jik stan sha de ne dezen sumre wa
Right.
choba joba the zomba tamje wa ya dezen jik tan ani niwa zamje chun ran shi dan juk de was dezen sabje sumna la danger sama de dan jik to see yo ta dan dan ni ro sa da ni so
Right. Right. So basically, when we have the four, this praise, this commitment to compose, the actual text itself, and then this synopsis, right? Or the literally means the actual work gathered together, or the main thing gathered. So it's I guess a summary or something like that, right? When we have these four, the first two can be bound into one, right? And then you have three, right? So this praise and this commitment to go sometimes can be just one category. So you can have the four or you can have the three. But we've now covered off these first two. This praise or this prostration, and then this commitment to compose the text. Okay. The Samba Tenchogi Rangshin. So when we get into the third one, the composition of the actual text. Composition Tenchogi, yeah. So this composition of the actual text, we have two parts of that. We have the preliminaries, and then we have the actual main body, which is the three scopes of beings, right? So this third section has two divisions. The preliminaries and the three scopes of beings. Practice of the three scopes. And the first one, the preliminary, has 7. Taljo ten dire. Taljo payo pongwa emba temba. Yeah, okay. So then the first one has 7. Okay, so we'll go over them. We'll go over them individually, but just quickly, they're precious human rebirth, abandoning one's homeland, rely on a solitary place, giving away the affairs of this life, abandoning non-virtuous friends, relying on a spiritual friend, and refuge. Yeah, so these are the 7.
주진이가 도도서 배는 가족이 겹배샤라 가족 바로도 도구고이나 다 주쳐보고 와라 그래 셰프 somewhere 주쳐보들라
Yeah, ship.
셰프 지보지 당한줄에 라레스 다 디나나 도제다 가족 바로를 다 깔래 잡는 도구르면서 셰프 전부 가족나 대대나 가족나 고라잡지 대대라 아니 니마지 쓰나미 디도 그 주진 전부 예산 대대가잖아 그 디도도 하고 제가 안저 단다 되나시 밀르네들 벨르네들 그 안저 코에 자주디 나라 네데 요르데 동이망고 나라 네데 요르데 안저라 데 니가베게네 밀르네 텐데직다 다데 뒤줄에 네데 요레스 다 다시 코에서레 뒤지 지시 중에 꾸는 가르치는 당에 아니 최시고 요레스 시험도 당에 밀르된 자정부터 네니와데 다단신 코에 자주레 최베 치드 아니 니단 천 야매와 니제 야매와 된주 당부 니 몽부니 몽부 퇴 안테네 삼 안테네 공 퇴상 공성 냠내치 어디디 제세시 주세베 냠내리 데 텐조라 먼저 민류된디 퇴는된 것이다 meaningful life share겠다 탑시들에서 왔다
So I'll read the verse. So the first 7 verses are these 7 preliminaries, right? So the first one being precious human rebirth. Having gained this rare ship of freedom and fortune, hear, think, and meditate unwaveringly night and day, in order to free yourself and others from the ocean of cyclic existence. This is the practice of the Bodhisattvas. So now we've attained this precious human rebirth. So this analogy, having gained this rare ship. So the analogy of a ship or a boat is used. And why is it? Because the analogy of samsara is used as an analogy of an ocean. And in order to cross a normal ocean, you need a boat. They didn't have aeroplanes back then, obviously. So you needed a ship or a boat, right? That was the way to cross the ocean. So this way, if we want to cross this ocean of samsara, what do we need? We need this boat, or we need a boat or a ship of this precious human rebirth. This enables us to cross the ocean of samsara. However, if we have attained this ship or this boat, and we just drive it around in circles in the ocean, then, well, that's not really the point, right? We're not going to get much benefit. We're just then continually going to be stuck in this ocean of samsara circling around in it. And the problem with that is, of course, well, as long as we're in this ocean of samsara, we're continually experiencing suffering. So how do we cross this ocean? Well, we use the ship of human rebirth in order to practice Dharma, right? So this precious human rebirth is this boat or this ship that enables us to cross this ocean or enables us to attain liberation. But how do we go about doing that? Well, it's through diligent practice, and that's why it says we need to hear, think, and meditate unwaveringly night and day. So with uninterruptedly, night and day, we need to put these things into practice, right? And then it says this is the practice of the Bodhisattvas.
인다 첸디 아니 퇴중다 삼중다 공중지 싫어 어다도 저 냠네 지야디 제세 수스 베냠네 레스티 시고
Right. But also in there, it talks about the motivation in order to free yourself and others. So the self and others is very important. It's not just this attaining liberation for oneself individually, but recognizing the kindness of all sentient beings, recognizing that all beings have been our mothers and so forth. Then we develop this motivation to work not only to free ourselves, but to free all sentient beings from this ocean of samsara. So this becomes our motivation, and based on that, then night and day you endeavor to practice Dharma, and that's the practice of the Bodhisattvas.
다드네 년생 공부하시려면 먼저 다들 퇴중지 싫어 삼중지 싫어 공중지 싫어 센디 싫어 년 봤을 때 암저 년 싫어
Okay.
방법 먼저 최년년 싫어라 년고 퇴고라 마태는 가르치 생그래라 믹좀제 산다는 가르치 생그래 지그지기 하러 왔고 암저 마시는 마태는 영말 산다
Oh, okay.
망고 퇴고 년 봤을 때 퇴배 되는 망고 퇴중지 싫어 퇴배 되는데 양내 상노당 셈바스다 년생 공부하는 삼삼삼다 아니 삼배 되는데라 아니 수수 냠내는 자제 아니 선나로 초아 이제 아니 kumri che yung di zangala ani shindu suzu ji nyomon chungdang dungye yongdang dungye yongdang she yung di ani shindu ani gomjung ji sherab sa ta di chiya di gyasa shinju sembanan di ta langlang zoji tere song yo.
So here it says, hear, think, and meditate. Or well, it's listening, reflection, and meditation is often how it's translated. So when we talk about these three, Tosam Gom, or listening, reflecting, and meditating, first, of course, if we want to understand anything, we need to first hear about it, right? Listen to it, read about it, these sort of things. So if we don't have that, then we can't have the capacity to reflect on it or meditate on it. So first we need to hear, and not just like listen to it one time, but many times. Really get a strong fundamental knowledge of the basis through this listening, right? Then through that, once we have this basis of having had this listening, then we can reflect upon it. And as we reflect upon it, our understanding deepens. And then as we meditate on it, and go deeper into that, when we start to get a real understanding of it, like a kind of almost like a deeper understanding of it, then we start to get this, what we say, this understanding that arises from meditation.
파율에 되네 용고가 레스 하베나 년지 쳐라 되자 추다 요시가 년지 쳐라 되자 추다 요시다 수수년 가우들라 배 되자 추 발라나시 요제로 아니 되게 되자 되 왕게 아니 동해만 오시기 되게 봐 년지 쳐라 되자 추다 요시 다이 쳐라 시단 메다 바스로 다이 쳐라 시단 메나시 바 메 티크로 상마 아니 콘도사나 아니 수수 겨워도 좀 더고 봐
right. Sorry. Yeah. Okay, so we'll go through here. Right. So next verse, which is abandoning your homeland, right? So attached to loved ones, attached to your loved ones, you're stirred up like water. Hating your enemies, you burn like fire. In the darkness of confusion, you forget what to adopt and discard. Give up your homeland. This is the practice of the Bodhisattvas. So basically what's said here is the three poisons: attachment, aversion, and ignorance. These are exacerbated, or one of the conditions that causes it to rise is this paya, which is literally your homeland, right? So these become like a condition or a cause for these things to arise, right? And then we take the example when you're around people that you're close to, that you feel very nice, then this causes this attachment to come up, right? And that like it's stirred up like water being churned up. So this stirs up this attachment. And likewise, when you're around enemies or rivals, then you have this anger burns like fire, right? Now, this analogy of fire is used with anger because when you're in this it's not only this like the feeling of anger is somewhat related, but also this anger burns through all your merit or your positive karma. So this is why this analogy of fire is used for anger. Okay.
도저 상마 가르된 내용으로서는 수수 파유리스트 내용고요. 다 수수 딩에 파유리스트 등에 니엔체. 니엔체 딩에 롱버지고. 딩가 롱버지고 말이야. 딩에 비자를 다 내용고도 없고. 인자 도저 상마 내데 바지 파유 내용고요. 아니 다 딜 레드에 되자시다 딩무슨이다. 파유. 예스네 인자 다 파유 포야 돼. 계속 주시면 라레스. Right,
okay. Right, so, in the darkness of confusion, you forget what to adopt and discard. Well, what's meant by this? Well, just like when it's actually physically dark, we're unable to see, right? Like, obviously, in the dark, you can't see. And like this, when we are in our home country, then we kind of, it's very easy to forget to understand like what's Dharma and what's not. This is the ignorance. So when it says to adopt and discard, it's understanding what's Dharma, what's beneficial and what's not. Because you get caught up in a lot of things, like thinking my country and then others' country and how we're better and so forth. Like this relates to your homeland. So therefore it says, give up your homeland. This is the practice of the Bodhisattva. And Geshe-la says, well, he thinks he's got this one sorted because he's been out of Tibet for a while now. So at least this one he's got sorted.
My past lives, they did very strong prayer. Very early in their country. 단다디 지난 파유 계세 파유 나오르들레 양 대주고 거야 말이야. 내 가와되나 되자 시다 공도 되게 폐용도나
Right.
내디 샤고 요르다 내가 샤 바나메쇼 먼저 쌤게 수수 다고자도 거야 말와. 대마도 인자 고 유지 뭐네 유방야지 개침부래 수수 쌤라 냠네 기타 직진이나 유행에면은 파도고 요래. 먼저 쌤 레당보에 유행에버도 데스 파.
Okay. So this homeland doesn't necessarily mean where you're born or where you grew up. It's basically any place that is conducive to stirring up your three poisons, your attachment, aversion, and ignorance, right? So any place that your mind is unsettled and these negative emotions arise, right? Or the conditions are conducive to arise these negative emotions. So, for example, for advanced practitioners, like real yogis and that, for them, they want to go towards these difficult situations because they can transform those into the path. But for beginners, we're not capable of this, and we need to find situations that actually support us in our practice and don't encourage our non-virtuous emotions to arise. Right. So it's all right. Tommy-sama was onto it. He's like, okay, get out of your homeland. But it's like, well, now where do I go, right? So then he tells you, he says, well, you go and you rely on a solitary place. So he's got your back there, don't worry.
Now you go to wish people like they're one heart empty.
Well, it might be full after this.
Yeah, you give up. You need to know. You give up the net chatan jig to us. Never but then you never walk your
Right.
Never but then. But this year, never but then, never but in the pen career. Like in the pen, because you give up when you're more in this. You give up the papa with it. You give up to Jasha, Timu, Jesa, because you've been negative. Can you see the news door? The zero to the papa with it. So you more than the Ranju gave, never child rest. You give up when you're more in the tips. That is doing a serious.
Okay. Where are we? So yeah, now we get on to the third one. Rely on a solitary place. So it says here, by avoiding bad objects, disturbing emotions gradually decrease. Without distraction, virtuous activities naturally increase. With clarity of mind, conviction in the teaching arises, cultivate seclusion. This is the practice of a bodhisattva. So within a solitary place, like what's the benefit of staying there? Like what is the benefit? And it's like you said, it's a conducive environment to develop your positive qualities, and also reduce your non-virtuous emotions, right? So when it says by avoiding bad objects, what's meant by bad objects? Well, it's these things which cause us to arise negative emotions. So it may be physical things, or it may be people. Like sometimes it's a lot of people who gossip or say certain things, or just maybe distract us or whatever it might be. And when we're surrounded by these sort of people and objects, then it creates a situation where it stirs up our negative emotions. But when we separate ourselves from those, then that becomes a more conducive environment to reduce our non-virtuous emotions. All right, okay. Oh, okay. Okay. So as the Kadampa Geshis used to say, right, or the Kadampa masters used to say, then there's tremendous benefit in the solitary place. And why is that? Well, because, and it says this in the Abhidharma as well, when you abandon the object, then when you abandon the object, then the subject decreases, is also gone, right? When the object's not there, then the subject arises. So in this case, Yul Nyongtsen means the object and the mind perceiving that object. So when that object's not there, then that mind doesn't arise, right? So this is the idea for beginners, for people in the beginning of the path. If you abandon the object so that the mind that arises, so that mind won't arise because there's no contact with the object. Once you realize emptiness, then it becomes the opposite. Then the mind, or the Yul Chen, or the subject, can actually cause the object to be abandoned, right? So it can become the other way around. But for us, as the Kadampa masters used to advise and says in the Abhidharma, by giving up the object, then that mind will no longer arise.
I think it is true. If you not much go to in the Nasen or Richmond Mall, you less wanting shopping. If you go Sunday, they sell 50%. Oh, what about no go shopping and just sit there quiet. You want it to become more balance less, balance.
I don't know, a lot of online shopping, Gishula.
Online shopping, I think you need I don't have
credit card.
I have credit card, but I not open the nothing checking.
No Trade Me account. Okay.
No, I don't go there. Before my Facebook, I had to delete it. No, someone joining me on Facebook lost the selling, and now I clicked it, stopped this. Well, no did it. And they are Nami maybe, Gijonang pays it. That is it, better than that is it. Casual sure. Nami, that Nami la, Chicamotava to your Shania, Zemotea, that was Namira. Nami, Gawa. Nami Mena. Never Baladana, Demota to say Mari, Tamari Medu, that's him the Gawacha, Michiamara. Never Baladed, Demota say Mari. try me that's a young man internet man ya shiro never that things and never internet you know never chas maro internet card me shida never cha gora somebody someone you he's on some days ago somebody someone
Right. Okay. So, where are we? Oh, yeah. With clarity of mind, no, that's not. Without distraction, virtue activities naturally increase. So, yeah, when we're free from this distraction, right, or then naturally our mind settles and increase. So, like in a solitary place, you don't have like movies or football or anything to play or anything like that to distract your mind, right? But of course, these days, a solitary place is not somewhere just physically solitary. You need to have no internet connection. If you have Wi-Fi, then you can't really say it's a solitary place, right? Because then it's full of distraction, right? So yeah, solitary places necessarily need no Wi-Fi.
And now the new rule, solitary not allowed.
Yeah, I think they need one addition to the because 연행 good the empathy 연행 get 지당이로 단다 연행 고고 그래.
이제 주제고. 에블링 답변. Evelyn Diana Beru.
So I said to him, normally they have 8 qualities for a solitary place, like in the Lamb Room. And I said, oh, you need 9, like no Wi-Fi. He said, no, you need 10 as well. You need to have no airplanes flying above. So yeah, it's pretty tricky to find one these days.
Okay. 아니 리바탕에 출렁이 시키지. 근데 웬발에 대윤디 아니 네 웬바 장마여로 네 웬바 장마여로 장마여자 수세 셈 당화용 거여로 셈 당화용 거로 셈 당화여나 아니 최 신야다나 최 도야도 야고용 거레스 리바탕에 출렁이 시키지.
So with clarity of mind, conviction in the teachings arises. So in a solitary place, like Sangha means clean, right, literally, but it's a conducive place to allow your mind to have clarity. And when you're in this place in your mind's clarity naturally arises, then, of course, conviction, from having that clarity of mind, conviction and understanding the Dharma naturally arises, or is conducive to arising that, I should say.
아니 녀모 림지 뒤도야 알아 녀모도 서봐 란시 거랑 거랑 뒤도야 아니 계조도 돼 란시 피해요야 아니 셈 당요야 어디서 포지티브 문제네 when
So basically when you're in this conducive environment, this solitary place, then your delusions naturally go down. Your qualities naturally increase, your clarity of mind increases, your understanding of the Dharma increases. So this conducive environment creates, this opportunity to develop your understanding of the Dharma. Okay. Alright, so now you're in this solitary place. It's like, well, what do? You don't just sit around and do nothing, right? What do I do? Well, I'm here. Well, this gets us onto the 4th one, which is like casting out this life, right? Through understanding impermanence, you cast away the fears of this life. Right. So if we don't have an understanding of the Dharma and these things, then we have a strong kind of focus on the affairs of this life. And while we have that, then we can't really develop in the Dharma. Right.
아니 시도도 수수 유르고 치된 저기 저부터서 제도야레스 아니 수수 깔래쇼 잡지 사선 저기 너디 제대 샤르레스 신다 파샤니 수수 류데 샤니 베레네 그 제대로 자신 시험도 와서도 제대로 당 거래서 뭐다
Right. So, excuse me. The verse goes, "Loved ones who have long kept company will part. Wealth created with difficulty will be left behind. Consciousness, the guest, will leave the guest house of the body. Let go of this life. This is the practice of the bodhisattva." So if we're like on holiday traveling around and we're staying in a hotel or a guest house or like, I don't know, Airbnb or whatever they have these days, right? You know that you're going to be leaving it in a couple of days. So you don't really get caught up in the things in that place, right? And it's like this with our life, knowing that we're going to die, right? Regarding this body like a guest house and this consciousness will have to leave, right? Then we understand that all of these things, like all of these people who we think are so awesome, when we've friends we've known for a long time, well, when we leave, this, it's like people in a guest house. They, you have to leave them behind. And all of this stuff, this money and all this stuff we put so much effort into accumulating and collecting, again, when we leave this guest house, we're going to have to leave all the stuff in it or associated with it behind, right? So it's like this. When you have this conviction like that, then obviously your attachment to the things of this life becomes a lot less.
세상 다 미다가 이들라 지 치왕이 남림도 소리다 치왕이 남진이 집에서 다 가려 팬도고 되게 상당하고 봐. 그래서 시왕이한테 상물로 켈린 집이었다. 미쳐 켈린 게 있는 체크하면은 상물로 시기 어디 켈린 게 그래. 다 가디오 시기 메디 켈린이 뉴뉴시다래. 당아 단다다 시세 말해. 마음로 가셔야 돼 그래. 나는 당아란서 제 진이 인생 시골 때래. 다 드린다 마식 말해. 드린다 돼 그래. 산이가 내 제원스인데 어드래. 아제다 나다다 로망고 돼 그래서 내들 차시고 내가 배셔면 먹어라. 내가 나들라 내가 먹고 제가래 되네. 누스데 내가도 다 와. 남진 예매 임바달라 다 지게만 선제 용사들 집에 게 먹고 등산하고 칼라게 생도 칼라야 오마세 나는 칼라게 미세도 와 칼라는 제조라면 여러 와 칼라는 칼라니 지난주 수업 먹을 미상고 칼라라 치우스때도 맞는 데 내가요. 네 칼라게 수수수 걸로 내제 뒤제 단계에도 하고 그러라. 칼라게 뭐네시나 칼라된 건 수부 쳐야 돼. 배셔를 미 배셔를 가다를 쳐제 칼라게 먼저 수부 쳐라 단계거든. 제조 먹고 따로.
카드하고
칼라를 제 먹고 이거 제. 제조디 수부를 내고 알아.
Right.
뭐네시나 칼라디 수부를 편야로.
Right.
이나야 칼라게 제조도 먹으서는 수불을 내지 수불 나서서다.
Okay.
나서서는 아니 내 나서 진 시도 그러고. 다시 신기하다 하다. 신기하러. 치킨 치약 게임하고. 소야기 게 요르로. 소야기 게 내조라도 매워서요. 내조라도 수불을 팽겨요. 아니 제조 먹고 제가 되게 수불을 내우다. 아서 달라는 치킨 맛이 순전 용화서야 돼. 치외 게임 먹고 치약이 게임 먹고 남진이 매 상담 줘라. 아마 그뒤신 하고 말해. 좋아?
All right. Yeah. Okay.
치약이 게임 배면 거다. 소야 게임.
Right. So the kind of Jewish and Pembrokeshire.
치와 예제로.
시원인데.
남진 예매 해야 될 상담.
Right.
가두시 하고 말아. 가두시 하면 어떨 게임 먹고 요인자 가두시 하고 말아.
Okay. Yeah, I got you. So when you think about impermanence or death impermanence, right, then we need to understand, like, what is the benefits of thinking about death? Like, it's beneficial for everybody, right? To understand that, one, you're going to die, but also you're not certain of the time of death. Because if you have this understanding that your death could come at any time, then you're not so inclined to put things off, procrastinate, or waste your time and energy chasing after meaningless affairs like accumulating wealth or trying to, develop things that aren't actually beneficial, right? Rather than that, you'll spend your time doing things that are more beneficial. And so, for example, right, like when we look at food, like these days, mostly people in the supermarket, they really kind of, a lot of people diligently check what's in the food, because there's a lot of things that are in the food that these days, like colorings and flavorings and sugars and all sorts of other nonsense, right? But these actually, generally speaking, we say food should be beneficial to the body, but these things can actually harm the body, right? So you become very aware, right? Like these things, if you eat too much of it, can actually harm the body or make you sick. So you become very aware of what you put into your body, right? And the same, like this is the same when we think about impermanence, right? If we think about the benefit of this, then we think not knowing we're going to die, but also not knowing when, this changes our whole perspective on life and makes us actually work in a much more beneficial way. Right. Right. So, but the crux of this is you got to understand, like, at the time of death, what's actually beneficial, right? What's going to benefit you at that time? Is money going to help you? Are your friends going to be able to help you? Is being like fame and like being famous and people thinking you're awesome, is that going to help you? What actually helps at the time of death? Right. Yeah, so it's only your mind at the time of death that will be helpful, right? Like your virtue and your state of mind. This is what can benefit you. Other than that, really nothing. Right, so now that we've whipped up this death impermanence, we better go and have lunch, right? Guru